Ishmael and Abdullahi, where are they?
Ishmael's going to come at
he just came.
this Monday.
Go on, Ishmael. Alright, so I'm going to explain what's happening. So if you're listening carefully, then it will be all that much quicker. So what we're going to do is we're just going to really do about a 10-minute lesson. The reason we're doing it is a friend of mine who used to be a teacher here. She wants a video of a teacher teaching something complicated. So I'm going to be talking about the feudal system, which hopefully you remember a little bit about. So it'll only be about a 10-minute lesson. Once we get through it, then we're going to be watching a film about the Romans. Yeah? So the more engaged we are, the happier we are. The harder we work, the quicker we'll get through it. Okay? So we're going to start it like a normal lesson, so I just want you with the date and the title as always. And then, are we recording? Are we recording? Oh, right here. Once you've got the date and time, we're going to have a look at the starter. We're going to be going back over the feudal system that we looked at way back in February time. Hopefully you can remember how it works. Do you remember we did that role play? Yeah, where some of you were the peasants, one of you was the king. So we'll be revisiting that. I want you to explain to the person next to you or somebody on your table, how does the feudal system work? And that is all. If you really can't remember, there's a big clue. 1 second, absolutely. If you really can't remember, there is a big clue at the back of the room there that might help you remember. Okay, guys, off you go. I'll give you about a minute or so to do this.
I'm sweating.
So if peasants give them food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we remember it? No? Debbie, do you remember it? Yeah, can you explain to David?
Okay, what can the kids do?
You said it does. What can you explain to me?
Lightest clothing.
Yeah.
The kids at the top. Is your husband? So basically, I feel like it's going to go away. Yeah, hours. This is and this work on their land.
All right, yes, 7. Thank you. And looking this way now. Thanks. And then 1 sec. I know you're talking about. Can you put your hand up if you would feel confident to be able to explain this? Go on, Ryan. I've already heard a couple of people explain it very, very well. I know you can do it because it's just if you do. Good. So what I want is a volunteer to come out to the front. I've not heard you so much, so maybe you'll be a good one because I know you guys can. And you can even wear the crown. So what I want you to do is explain. Perfect. Can you explain to the rest of the class, come in the middle, how the feudal system works? You can use the diagram if you like.
Okay. So the king had made the feudal system. Look, the king, right? Okay, he had made a feudal system. So the king would pay the barons.
What does he pay them with?
With land.
Yeah.
Yeah. With land, and the knights would get paid with land and protection, and the peasants would just have to give vegetables and food to the knights, and the knights would take it to the barons, and the barons would give it to the king.
So what do the knights give the peasants in return for their food?
A little land.
Yeah, and what else?
And so leftovers of what they don't need for them. So
Yeah, they
they
might
would
give them
get
that.
very little food.
What else do the knights give to the peasant? Abe?
They gave the knights, they gave the peasant a lot of protection.
Protection.
Yeah.
So remember when we did the role play, if a foreign army invaded, then the knights are there to protect the peasants. So what do the barons do for the king? Emily?
I wasn't going to put my hand up, but I'll try.
Good.
So, what the barons do for the king is, I think, they look after the land and
What do they give to the king?
vegetables.
So people need to eat. Go on,
They
sir.
flatter the king,
They might
so
flatter
they
him,
would
yeah.
get more money. So the king will feel generous sometimes.
Okay, but as part of the feudal system, what do they need to give to the king? Go on, Abe.
Money,
Money,
land.
knights is what we're after. So, thank you. I think I'll be okay. No, so this is how it works. Just to remind you, I think we've got it, haven't we? The king is going to give land to the nobles. In return, they give him money and knights. The nobles will give some of this land they get from the king to their knights, who will fight. They'll protect the nobles, and they will also fight for the nobles on behalf of the king. The kings then give some of their land to the peasants. The peasants then have to work on this land. They produce all of the food. They give some of this food they eat themselves, some they give on to the knights. And this is how the economy works. And then the knights will protect the peasants from other knights and from people attacking. Are we happy with that? Do we understand how the feudal system works?
Probably.
Yeah? Probably. Good. And this is how we've been taught that this is how the Middle Ages works, how it all works. So what I'd like you to do now, and I've got some clues up here for you. I'd like you to make a list of all of the jobs that you think people might have done in the Middle Ages. So, for example, somebody is the king. We can call that as a job. Think about when you're writing this list, think about where people might live, what they might eat, what they might wear. All of these jobs that need doing. Have a think about all of these things. I'm just going to give you a minute, and then I'm going to go all the way around the class, and every one of you is going to give me at least one job that people did in the Middle Ages. Okay, off you go. Jot them down. Use these as clues here. We've got clues. David, can you be writing this one? Okay, sorry. Monks? Priests, bishops. Archbishop. It's like bishop, B-I-S, Bishop B. So archbishop, Arch, A-R-C-H. Then bishop, yeah, what do you call it?
I don't think in the Middle Ages the person who owned a shop would be called a shopkeeper.
They would, yeah. Shopkeepers, there were certainly shopkeepers in the Middle Ages. So because it's hard, so when we think about the Middle Ages, we might forget that people still need to go to the shop to buy something sometimes.
What's the entertainer? Joker? Jester. Sorry.
All right, so these people who are going to kill, not so execution.
Sir, the one with the
Yeah, that's right.
just
Over here, it's a little bit difficult to see, but he's counting money.
I got farmer, king,
What do you call somebody who...
Did you write president?
Bankers, okay.
I've got king, blacksmith, farmer, knight, priest, baker,
He is a... Do you know what type of doctor he was? So he's a doctor. Paid doctor. Do you know what's in his mask?
That's
In his mask he would have flowers and things that smell
I've got one
nice.
of the typical
They believed that what made you sick was bad air. They thought All right, guys. Right, so let's see if we can go around and do this. I'm going to start, so hands down, because I'm going to go around everyone. I'm going to start with Emily, and we're going to zoom around. Go on.
Count.
Should we write them down?
Any ones you haven't got already? Yeah, accountants, people who deal with money. They certainly would have needed these in the Middle Ages. They had, in the Middle Ages, they had this amazing thing called the exchequer, where they worked out how much money everybody owed.
Blacksmiths.
Blacksmiths. What would blacksmith have done?
They would have made swords.
And lots of other things, but you're right, yeah. Absolutely.
Barons.
There are, of course, barons. So, you're quite right, but you wouldn't have had a pope in England. What would you have had that's like a pope, perhaps, in England? A less important pope? Yeah, vicar, or different word for that?
Priest.
Priest. We can say priest. Lovely. Give it.
Farmers.
Farmers. What's the word that we would use for farmers that we've been using?
Peasants.
Peasants. Ina. I'll come back to you. Ishmael.
Doctors.
Doctors. They weren't very good doctors, but there were doctors in the Middle Ages.
Knights.
Nice. Keep thinking. Mario.
Trader.
Traders. So people buying and selling stuff, just like we've got here.
Jester.
Jesters. We always remember court jesters. So, like comedians or entertainers today. David.
King.
Kings and queens. Of course, if you think I'll come back to you. Debbie. Musicians. Listen. Okay, so what do you call it? Where do you buy food, or where do you think you use it for food? Market, yeah. Market storeholders. Joshua.
Monks.
Monks. So a bit like priests, but they live by themselves away. And remember, we did a lot of work on the monks, didn't we? Adam.
Butchers.
There were butchers. Somebody's got to cut up your meat. Ibrahim?
Archers.
Archers, so bowmen. Hunters, yeah.
Barmen. Barmen.
There would have been barmen, yeah, you're quite right. So, and also landlords, people who would have owned pubs, taverns, definitely. I think. Do you think? What about? I'm going to go. So I'll come back to you first. I'll come to you. What about clothes? Does that help? What sort of person do you need to get to make your clothes? Or where are you going to live? Picture it?
The people that make clothes.
So the people who make clothes. Does anyone know what we call people who make clothes? Fashion designers today have an old-fashioned word for it though. Do anyone know, Kira?
Tailors.
Tailors. What about if you're a baron and you live in a castle? How was your castle got there?
Builders.
Builders. And also, you're quite right.
What about soldiers?
You need cleaners. So the soldiers, not all knights were soldiers. I mean, not all soldiers were knights. So you do also get soldiers. Yeah.
Hunters.
Hunters, absolutely. What about if you are a queen, Emily? If you are a queen and you've got lots of ladies who work for you, what would you call that?
Servants. Servants, but the people who like do your makeup and that.
Yeah. So you'd have servants, you might have maids. What about, yes,
Slaves.
So in early England there were slaves. So slaves tended slavery died out after William the Conqueror and the Northern Conquest. But yes, there were slaves doing some of this work. Go there, yeah?
Miners.
Miners, there would have been miners. So you're mining because they're mining metals to make things. Yeah. So, let's want to go back to the feudal system. What's missing? Ishmael.
All of that. I mean, barons.
Shall we have a look at this? So, what's missing? Accountants, blacksmiths, priests, doctors, traders, barmen, landlords, justers, musicians, flute-tellers, marksmen, monks, butchers, archers, servants, maids, miners, slaves, hunters, soldiers, cleaners, builders, tailors. The only things we've got here are the kings and queens, barons, knights, and peasants. Does it strike you as strange?
Cobblers.
Cobblers, great word, yeah. You weren't just shouting cobblers at me? No. Okay. So, if not everyone is included in the feudal system, can it still have existed?
No. Yes.
Got two opposing views here. Ishmael, you go first. Why not?
You need all those things in the feudal system.
So, we can say definitely all of these people existed in medieval England. They all existed.
The one put in.
But that's not, does that mean the feudal system can't exist? What do you think?
Well, it can, so, because maybe someone drew it wrong or was ordered by the king to make it.
Okay, so, and I'm going to stop you there because the feudal system was only really called the feudal system a couple of hundred years ago, so it wasn't called the feudal system by the king. I would say it can exist. Kira, go on.
I think it can exist. It's just that obviously everyone knows that all those people exist. I think they're just trying to scale it down to the most important things that are actually like recognised more often into the feudal system.
Brilliant. So the feudal system is really created by historians. So what have historians done in creating the feudal system? You said scaled it down. What's another word you might use there?
They picked out the main things. So we learn about kings and queens and bishops and everything. But I don't think you'd have a history lesson on accountants or tailors or barmen.
Yeah, you might be quite dull.
They're not. They haven't been forgotten. I think it's the most important things in history are the most remembered.
Brilliant. I love what you've done there, the way you've explained that. I did this with my year 12 actually. You've just given a better explanation. What historians have done is simplified it. If we were going to teach you everything here, then this is going to be very, very complicated, isn't it?
Because they're still here in the modern day. You won't need someone to write it down for you to remember it.
So we need to be aware that although this all looks very neat and tidy, and we can say that this did exist in this sort of way, history is a lot more complicated. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Thank you.